Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome back to our English class. It's nice to see you all here again in our meeting or in our stream. I hope everything is or everyone is doing fine on their own. Okay. I hope also that everyone has settled down already. Now, yeah, I am so happy to see all of you joining our virtual classroom or virtual stream once again. I hope you all had a productive day at work or maybe a restful afternoon before we started our session. Now, before we jump with our tasks for today, I want to do a quick heart check. How is everyone feeling? Okay, if you are feeling great and of course ready to learn, you can send any good emoji in our comment box or comment section. So it's so wonderful to see all of you here. Now, let's take a quick look back. We just finished an incredible and nice journey with the lesson on body parts, right? In our last meeting. Now, two last few meetings, because we've covered this for two meetings for body parts one and body parts two. Now, before we continue, actually, what we are going to do in this session would be for exercises. I will be assessing your knowledge about the discussions that we had in the last few meetings about the body parts, especially in a professional and medical context. Okay? All right. Now, before, of course, we continue, we start with our exercises that I have prepared for you. We are going to do a quick review. Okay? Okay. Let's start with this one. Now, for our first lesson on body parts, we started with head and face. Okay, the one at the top. So, the flow of our discussions for the body parts started from top until the bottom. So, for the top here, of course, our head and face, which is mentioned here, essential facial features for health communication. Now we have the head, we have the eyes, we have the ears, we have the nose, the mouth, and the teeth. So, all those body parts we mentioned or we discussed it thoroughly in our first session for body parts. Okay. You can see it in here. There's a picture that shows where these body parts term really belongs, no, in your head or face, head and face. This is the head. This is the eyes, of course. You have two ears also. You have one nose, one mouth and one teeth. Not one teeth, but like one set of teeth. Two sets from top to bottom. Okay. Now we are going to continue with the next one. We also had a discussion about our upper body and torso. Now it is mentioned here that this is a core, or these are core body parts for workplace health and ergonomics. Everything in here, this is our upper body and torso. Okay, just right below our head because our head goes here. Okay, our head it goes here. Now our upper body and torso, it includes the chest. Your chest is here. Your shoulders is here. You have also in the other side, you also have the back. Okay, the back at this one. Stomach. Okay, this is your stomach. The arms, you have two. Mm, here and also here. And the throat. Throat right below or right on your neck. Okay, right on your neck, just below your head. That is the upper body and torso. Now we're going to continue with the arms and hands. So these are the upper extremities vocabulary for physical work. Now, in the arms and hands, we have the elbow, this one, the wrist, this one. We also have the hand, okay? The fingers, oh, we have five for each arm or each hand, and the thumb, okay? So those are the different parts of arms and hands. Moving on to the legs and feet. So we are already starting or tapping on the bottom part, no, the lower extremities of our body. These include the vocabulary for mobility as well as safety. Now here we have the leg, okay? We have the knee, we have the ankle, we have the foot or feet if it's two, and of course the toes. So the toes is equivalent with your fingers in the arms and hands, okay? All right. And then we have the internal organs. So this is the last one, I believe. Now, understanding vital organs for health discussions. Because when we talk about internal organs, these are a huge part of your overall well-being. Okay? So it's just as much important as your outside appearance or outside physicality. Your internal organs and your outer organs is also important. Now we have here the main ones. Actually, there are many, but we're going to focus on the main ones. We have the heart, okay? The heart, as mentioned here, organ that pumps blood through your body, okay? So that is the heart. So we know that aside from its physical aspect as the heart, it is the center of our emotional vitality aside from physical vitality. Okay, there's a sentence here, sample sentence where we use the word or the term heart. My heart is beating fast. Okay, so location, where can you find your heart? At the center of the chest. Let's go back to this, to our upper body and torso. So your chest is here. What was mentioned in there? Your heart is at the center of the chest. Okay, so you can find it here. Actually, not totally the center, but here. You can find your heart in there. Okay? Now, there are some tips so you can keep your heart healthy because again, your heart is very important for your well-being or for your existence. You won't be alive if you don't have a healthy heart. What can you do? You can exercise to keep it healthy. Don't smoke as much as possible. You eat healthy food. Very simple reminders. Okay? Now, again, your heart, it just, it is very essential to have a heart because, of course, it pumps blood throughout all your body. It keeps you alive. Now, when we talk about heart in a professional context, we are discussing the very, let's say, engine of our survival. Every beat of your heart ensures that there is oxygen rich blood reaches your brain, your muscles, and your extremities so you can perform your work. Okay? So it is really the center of your well being. If you are feeling stressed or have been running to a meeting, for instance, you might notice a physical sensation in your chest, right? Like the heavy breathing, because you can keep up with the stressful environment. That is why the example given here, no, the example sentence, my heart is beating fast because I run like for a long time. So your heart can keep it, can keep with the intense workout, sudden workout that you did, which is running. So to keep this organ functioning, you can, well, throughout your career, especially because we cannot deny that work is stressful in its own ways, in our own ways. So you can do these three essential habits. These habits are very simple, but it will impact greatly in your good, in your well-being, in your heart, as it's in your good heart. Okay, so let's try to practice the pronunciation. This is the pronunciation. We have heart. So there is this long sound in the okay? Okay, this one is a long sound. So we just say it as heart, not heart, but heart. Okay? That is heart. Okay. Now, let's focus on the blue one. This is your lungs. Again, lungs. So there are two lungs, two organs that help you breathe air. Just as much as your heart is important, your lungs is also important because, as mentioned here, it helps you breathe air. Air is very important to our body. It keeps us alive, right? So this is your location, both sides of chest. Let's go back to the slide where our chest can be seen. So it's in here as well as in here. So both sides, okay? Both sides. So you can find it there because there are two. Okay? Now in here, our lungs. So the lungs are your body's system for changing and exchanging different gases that goes inside your body and outside also. So you take in the oxygen that your heart needs to pump and release carbon dioxide. That is that. Okay. Now, in a professional environment, everyone, your lung health, okay, your lung health is often discussed in terms of air quality. Okay. Air quality. So if you work in an office with poor ventilation or a factory with, you know, it's not properly cleaned, so there are a lot of dust in the air. Now your lungs are at the front line of your safety. Okay? It is at the front line of your safety. It's not properly cleaned. So there, excuse me. Now, for a moment. Okay. Now, you can look at when you talk about that, when you keep that in mind, that there are really places that is a reality, that there are places or there are workplaces that is not safe to you because it is not properly cleaned. So when you look at that, you know, you when you take note of that, you can look at the healthy habit encouraged in our slide here. This is on your own. You don't smoke, you should not smoke. It's mentioned again. It's also mentioned in your heart. You breathe fresh air. This one is kind of hard if your workplace is not that clean. And okay, as much as possible, if you have time, you can exercise regularly, even as simple as walking. As long as you move your body properly, you're already exercising it. Okay? Next, we have the brain. This is the last one. How do we pronounce it? Brain. Okay? Brain. This is the organ that controls your body and thoughts. Okay? So it's the control center of your entire body and your entire career. So the brain is as essential with heart and lungs. Okay? It controls your body and thoughts. Now, its location is inside your head. Let's look back at the head. So it's inside your head. Your brain is inside here. Okay. Now your brain is the most active. Okay. Most active organ you use at work. Because what does it do? It processes information. It makes decisions. It solves problems. It manages your interactions with colleagues. So when you are feeling mentally exhausted, um, you might use a sentence like the one on our slide here. What does it say? I need coffee to wake up my brain. Again, I need coffee to wake up my brain. While coffee is a popular temporary fix, the slide proves more sustainable ways to keep your brain really sharp. Okay? What does it says here? First, you get enough sleep or get enough rest for your brain. Your brain is functioning all the time. Okay? As I've mentioned earlier, your brain is the most active organ you use at work. So it's always functioning. Even as you are listening to me right now, your brain is functioning. Okay? So it is really important that you get enough rest. And how can you properly do that? You get enough sleep. Okay? Aside from that, you learn new things. So it helps your brain to keep sharp. No, if you try to read, as simple as reading, that's already a start, a good start. You can read new things. You can read new ideas. It will help your brain to keep sharp because this new thing is not common to your brain. So it, gives signal that this is new. So you should learn it properly and such thing. So it keeps your brain really sharp. And lastly, what it does it say? That is to eat healthy food. Okay, so eat healthy food, just same with heart. Actually, you can also do that. It can also impact your lungs, the health of your lungs. Okay, it's important that you always eat healthy food so that it will not greatly affect negatively on your different internal organs, even your extremities, your head and face, your upper body and torso, your arms and hands, and even your legs and feet. Especially your internal organs, because they are the ones that are directly affected with what you eat daily. Okay? So, yes, here, since we're talking about getting enough sleep, sleep here is especially critical because that is, as I mentioned earlier, when your brain cleans itself because you did not or you're not using your brain that much. You're still using it. No, but it's not that heavy for your brain because you are resting, you are sleeping, so that is the time where your brain can really cleanse itself and it can organize the information that you learn during the day. Okay? It's resetting basically. So in a medical context, if you think about it, if you feel dizzy or have trouble concentrating, you're describing a state of your brain. Okay, the state of your brain. How is it? I'm dizzy. I you can say I having a hard time concentrating. So that is those are different descriptions of your brain, of your state of your brain. Now, knowing this term is essential for any discussion about mental health. So aside from that, discussions on neurological safety or cognitive performance, no, it is the most complex structure in the known universe, your brain. It is very complex and it is what makes your professional skills possible. Okay, your brain is as complicated as we are. Okay, so it's very complicated, though if you think about it, it's at the top, so it controls everything until the bottom part of your body. Okay? So there are, you keep it healthy because once your brain is sick, it will affect your entire body. So get proper or enough rest so that your body can really, or your brain especially, can really recover from the stressful environment because we cannot deny it. Our workplaces can be, no, it can be stressful, especially if it's something new to us. It can be stressful for your brain, so take proper or enough rest for it. Okay, now let's look at common health phrases at work. First, if you try to report symptoms, okay, let's say symptoms. Where is it? For a moment, because, okay, it's cropped. This one, it's better. If you try to report symptoms, okay, I don't feel well, my stomach hurts, you can say that. I have chest pain, I need to see a doctor, you can say that. My heart is beating very fast. Or you try to ask for help. Can I take a break? My legs are so tired. Where is the first aid kit? I need to sit down. I feel dizzy. So that is, or those are different phrases or sentences that you can use when describing your body parts, especially in different contexts, like when you report symptoms or when you ask for a simple help. Okay. All right. So that is the those are, yeah, those are the different body parts. Actually, not more, not, these are not detailed enough, but of course, we try to include the basic ones because we start with the basic ones before the complex ones so that you already have a foundation about body parts. Now, I've mentioned earlier, we are going to do some exercises, but of course, before that, it's good enough that we take a proper rest for our brain. Since I've been talking about it a lot of times earlier. So let's take a proper break for maybe 5 minutes before we start with our succeeding exercises because there will be five exercises that we are going to do this session. Okay? 5 minutes. I will be back by one. I mean by um later. I will be back later at 5 minutes. Okay? Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm back. I hope everyone had a proper rest or enough rest. So, again, I've mentioned earlier, we're going to do some exercises to assess your skills or your learnings. To assess your learnings about our topic discussion on body parts. Okay, is everyone ready? Okay, let's just jump right into our first exercise. We're going to have five exercises in total, and this is just to see how much you have remembered from our discussions. Okay, now we're going to do the first exercise here. I hope you all participate. Okay, we have our comment box or comment section so that you can participate properly. All right. This is the first exercise. Let's start with something simple, a multiple choice. Instructions. Choose the correct answer for each question. Now, these multiple choice questions are designed to test your knowledge on both the body parts and the vital organs that we just covered. Okay? Let's look at the first question on the screen. Which body part do you use to type on a computer? Again, which body part do you use to type on a computer? A. Feet. B. Hands and fingers. C. Ears. D. Knees. What do we call the body part that we use to type on a computer? That is Yes, that is B. Hands and fingers. Okay, I hope you got that right. That is B. Hands and fingers. Everything good? Okay. So, yeah, when we talk about your daily work routine, for example, if you are at the office, perhaps, so when you sit at your desk to send an email, your body part that is doing the work is your hands and your fingers. So if you look back at our slide on arms and hands, where is it? Okay, this one. We learned that we use our fingers, this one, specifically to type the keyboard. So the correct answer here is B. Okay, this one. Hands and fingers. Great job. If you picked B, it's already good enough. First question. It's those hands and fingers that really keep our digital communication moving every single day. If you're using a laptop right now or a computer, then maybe you're using your hands and fingers. Okay? Let's move on to number two. The second question, what organ pumps blood through your body? Oh, we mentioned this one earlier. What organ pumps blood through your body? Okay, that one. Is it brain? Is it heart? Is it lungs? Or is it your stomach? What do you think is the answer? Now, this one, if you remembered it correctly, this one comes straight from our section 5, right? The discussion on internal organs. So, if you think about it, well, the brain, well, it controls your thoughts, and the lungs help you breathe air. There is only one organ that acts as the pump for your entire circulatory system. Is it the heart or the stomach? As we saw on the slide, the organ located in the center of your chest that pumps blood is the heart. Therefore, the correct answer is B, heart. Okay? So give yourselves a pat on the back if you get both of those right. You're showing a really strong understanding of how your body functions in a professional and health context. Next question. Which body part connects your hand to your arm? Okay? Which body part connects your hand to your arm? Is it the elbow, the wrist, the shoulder, or the finger? Let's look back at the arms and hands. What's the question? Body part, the body part that connects your hand. Oh, this is the hand and your arm. Where's the arm? This one is the arm actually. Okay, so your arm and your hand. So it connects the hand and the arm. So it should be in between. This one, what is this? That is the wrist. Okay, this is your wrist. So our answer for this question is wrist, letter B. So the wrist is the critical joint that allows for the flexibility and movement of your arm and your hand. Okay, next, number four, what do you use to breathe air? Okay, so this focuses on a vital function. What do you use to breathe air? Is it the throat, the mouth, the nose and lungs, and or the eyes? That is, what do you think? The answer or the correct answer is letter C, nose and lungs. While the throat and the mouth, they're involved in the passage of air. It is your nose that often takes air in, and your lungs is the one performing the actual breathing process. So our answer is letter C, nose and lungs. Okay. Last one. What do we have here? Okay, let me just. Okay, this one. Oh, you cannot see it for a moment. Let's go to number five. Which body part bends in the middle of your leg? Oh, it bends in the middle of your leg. So it should be, let's go back at the slide. It should be between your leg and your ankle. That is your knee. It bends. Okay? It bends in the middle of your leg. So let's see. What is the answer? That is the knee. Your answer is knee. So as we learned in our section 4 discussion, the knee is the joint located in the middle of your leg that allows it to bend so you can sit or you can walk. Okay? So that is our first exercise. There are only 5 questions for multiple choice. How are you doing so far? Did you get all of the answers correct? Is it 5 over 5? You can type in your score for the first exercise, okay? All right. Let's move on to another exercise. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. Next, we have our exercise. Next exercise is fill in the blanks. Here, instruction is complete each workplace sentence with the correct body part. So we are going to get interactive for exercise 2, fill in the blanks. I want us to walk through the entire professional process of identifying a problem and finding the right vocabulary to solve it. Okay? Now, as a teacher, as a tutor, I always tell my students that we aren't just looking for words here. We are looking for communication tools that help us navigate our professional life. So, understanding why a certain word fits a situation is just as important as knowing the word itself. Okay? Here is the full detailed breakdown of our questioning and answering processes here. So there is a sentence, and as you've noticed, in a sentence, there is a blank. So we have to solve it. Okay? That goes the same with number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So there are 5 items in total. Same with exercise 1. Okay? So here, let's start with question or with item number 1. First, we'll look at a specific symptom of or situation presented in our slide here. I have a sore blank. I cannot speak loudly in the meeting. So that is the question or that is the problem. Now, to solve this, we have to look for clues in the sentence. So, the primary clue is the function of speaking. So, we need to identify which part of the body is responsible for speaking or for producing sound and voice. We also need to identify which part of the body um is how do you call that, is responsible for or is capable of being sore. We also need to remember that the adjective sore, that is our adjective here, usually refers to internal, right? Internal pain, internal scratchiness, or inflammation. So that is that. Now, with those clues, let's try to see section 2. Since we are talking about speaking, of course, it should be on your section 2. Now, we learned about what? Throat in here in section 2. Again, what is the throat? That is the passage from the mouth to stomach inside your neck. So, this is where your vocal cords are. Okay? Now, what is our answer? The answer is throat. Okay, spelling throat. Throat. Let's check. Yes, that is the correct answer. So let's try to complete the sentence. I have a sore throat. I cannot speak loudly in the meeting. So by being specific, you aren't just making an excuse, you are providing a physical reason for your behavior in the meeting, which of course, in a way shows respect for your colleagues' expectations. Okay, that's number one. Let's move directly to number two. Wash your blank before eating lunch. Now, try to think, what is the most common way to interact with our environment at work? We use our upper extremities, right, to touch door handles, to share keyboards and coffee machines all day long. So these parts are our primary tools for physical work. Sorry. Now, as we saw in section 3, these parts at the end of our arms and our hands, washing them is the single best way to stop the spread of germs before we handle food during our break. So, what is our answer here? It is hands. Wash your hands before eating lunch. Let's check. Correct. So, using this term correctly, especially, it shows that you understand workplace safety protocols. You know, it's a simple action that keeps the whole team from getting sick. Now, let's move on to number 3. My blank are tired from looking at the computer screen all day. Okay. Now, discussion asks for the plural noun of the organs of, what do you think? Of the sight. So the key verb here is looking. Where is it? Looking. We need to find the parts of the face that we use specifically to process visual information from monitors. So here, face, since we're talking about face. This one, in our section 1, we learned here that eyes, especially, are what we use to see and read. Now, looking at the bright screen for 8 hours can really cause eye strain, which makes them feel heavy or tired. So, our answer here is eyes. Let's check. Correct. So, let's say that whole sentence. My eyes are tired from looking at the computer screen all day. Okay? So, being able to express your eye fatigue is a great way to start a conversation about office ergonomics, or simply to explain why you are taking a well deserved 5-minute break away from your desk. Okay? Number 4, good shoes support your blank and feet. Now, we are looking for the joint that connects the foot to the leg. Okay? In any job that requires walking, the joint that we have, it carries a lot of weight and is prone to twisting or injury. So let's look at the section 4 for legs and feet. This is a joint connecting your foot to your leg. So proper shoes provide stability to the specific joint to prevent workplace accidents. So what is it? We use Ankle. Because ankle is joint connecting your foot to your leg. This one, ankle. So let's try to see. Okay, where is it? This one. Let's try to type it in and check. Okay, it should be in plural. I'm sorry. Okay, that is correct. So good shoes support your ankles and feet. Okay. Now for the last item, my blank hurts from sitting in a bad chair all day. So we look back at the health and the impact of our office furniture here. Which part of the body is most affected by sitting in poor posture? What do you think? So we need to find them and the term for the rear part of the body that extends from the neck to the hips. So we learned in section 2, if you remember it, right, that the back is the rear part of your body from neck to hips, which is just what I mentioned earlier. This is the area we must protect by lifting carefully and sitting properly. So the word is back. Okay, that is correct. Back is correct. So let's try to say the sentence. My back is hurts from sitting in a bad chair all day. So you try to identify here the back pain, no? Because identifying the back pain is the first step in requesting an ergonomic assessment of your workspace so as to ensure that you can continue working without injury, right? Okay. That is our first, or I mean, the second exercise. Fill in the blanks. How are you doing so far? Are you doing good? Are we doing, are you satisfied with your standing, with your scores? You can type it in if you are. If you're not, then we still have three exercises. Okay? Don't worry. All right. Next, we have very simple, true or false. You decide if each statement is true or false. So this exercise is designed to test your fundamental understanding of body autonomy and function. So please remember, it is not just about getting the right answer here. It's about being able to explain why a statement is correct or incorrect using the professional vocabulary we've practiced tonight. Here is our detailed breakdown for each item. First, we have ankles are part of your arms. Is it true or false? Ankles are part of your arms. Now take a second to think about where your ankles are located compared to your arms. Okay? So to determine if this is true or false, we need to revisit our anatomical sections. In section 3, we focus on the arms and hands. So we identify the elbow as the middle joint of our arm and the wrist as the joint connecting to the hand to the arm. The hand to the arm, I'm sorry. Now, nowhere in that section did we mention the ankle. Did you find any ankle? No. Instead, we found the ankle in section 4 here. In legs and feet. By definition, the ankle is the joint that connects your foot to your leg, right? So, what is our answer here? This statement is false. Okay. So why does this distinction matter at work? Why? Because accuracy is everything, especially at work. If you tell a safety officer that you injured your arm when you actually tripped and hurt your ankle, they will look for hazards in the wrong place. You will be accommodated improperly. So, understanding that the ankle belongs to your lower extremities, it ensures that your medical reports are really accurate. So, if you are a warehouse worker, for instance, you might hear about ankle support in your safety boots. This is to protect your lower body, not your arms, okay? Because misidentifying body parts can lead to a confusion especially in emergency situations. So, knowing that the ankle is the firmly part of your leg and foot, structure is a basic but vital piece of, of information or professional knowledge. Okay? Now, moving on to our second statement, the brain is inside your head. This one takes us back to our discussion on internal organs. Okay? Let's see. Okay, think back to this section, internal organs. We discussed the brain as the control center of the body. So we looked at its specific location. Our chart explicitly stated that the brain is located inside your head. Okay, so this protective casing of the skull is what keeps our most important organs safe from daily bumps and movements. So it's inside your head, this one. Okay. Okay. So our answer here is true. Uy, dada. Sorry. Oh, I clicked on the wrong item. Anyway, well, when we talk about this statement, number two, in a professional setting, we often talk about the brain power, right? Or the needing to wake up our brain with simple remedy like coffee. Because the brain is the organ that controls your thoughts and body. If you remember it correctly, its health is directly tied to your head. So, in a higher risk jobs like constructions or logistics, we wear hard hats, right? Specifically to protect our head because we know the brain is inside. So, if you ever hit your head at work, a doctor will check your brain function immediately. So, being able to confirm that the brain is located in the head helps you understand why head injuries are treated with such seriousness in workplace health and workplace safety. Okay, that is number two. Now, for item number three, we already know the answer. What is the statement? You use your teeth to hear sounds. Of course, this statement is false because it tests our knowledge of sensory functions. So we need to pair the function, which is the hearing, with the correct body parts or body part. While we haven't spent a whole section on teeth, we know from general experience and our review of the head, the teeth are used for eating and speaking. Hearing, however, is a function of the ears. So if we look back at our multiple choice exercise, we saw that different parts have very specific rules, right? Hands and fingers for typing, heart for pumping blood. Hearing sounds is a complex process. Sorry for that. So it is really a complex process since it happens through the auditory system in your ears, not the digestive system or mechanical parts of your mouth like your teeth. Okay? So this statement is false. Let's move to number four. The heart pumps blood through your body. Okay, so this one we just mentioned or it recently. No, I just mentioned it. So, what is our answer here? This is, of course, true. Because our heart is the main organ that pumps blood through our body. It acts as a mechanical pump and it is located in the center of the chest. So, it ensures that every other part of your body, from your brain to your toes, it receives the oxygen rich blood it needs to function as a whole. So the health of your heart, everyone, is the health of your career because it pumps blood to your muscles and pain. And a strong heart means you have more energy for your shift. And this is why we discussed habits like exercise and eating healthy food to keep the heart functioning well. So if you feel your heart beating fast during a stressful task, you are feeling that pump working harder. So, knowing that the heart is the engine of your entire physical system that helps you explain symptoms like chest pain or palpitations to a workplace first aider with total clarity. Okay, this is true. Next, your wrist connects your hand to your arm. Is this true or false? That is definitely true. Why? Well, as we remembered it correctly, the wrist is the joint located between the larger structure of the arm and the hand. So it is the flexible hinge that allows the hand to move in different directions, which is essential for almost every manual task. Okay, so this is true. So that is your wrist. Next, last one. You have 5 fingers on each hand. Okay, that is, sorry, that is true. Okay, we use our fingers for the most precise part of our jobs, like typing on a keyboard or using scissors. Now, most of us, if not all, has 5 fingers. Okay, this is for gripping and precision, everyone. For example, if a worker has a hand injury, a doctor might ask for a range of motion test. So it tests all 5 fingers to check for their nerve damage. Okay. All right, that is all for our true or false. And this is our exercise 3. How are you doing so far, everyone? Are we doing fine? Good. I think we're doing fine. So let's move on to exercise 4. We are down to the second to the last exercise. Now our exercise here is matching exercise instructions. Match each body part with its function. So you match the body part to the following function of that body part. Okay? All right. For a moment. Okay. Let's start with our first question. What do you use to see and read? See and read. Now the options here are ears, eyes, and nose. So think about your digital workflow. When you are reviewing a contract or scanning a spreadsheet with sensory organ, which sensory organ is processing the data? Well, let's try to see. Your ears, it is busy listening to a conference call, let's say. Your nose might notice the smell of office coffee, office, office coffee. Sorry, what is happening to me? Anyway, office coffee. So they aren't the tools for reading. What's left? That is the eyes. So this is eyes. Okay. We learned that the eyes are the primary organs for sight, right? In the modern office, you are under constant pressure from monitors. This is why we discussed screen fatigue and the importance of taking visual breaks to maintain focus throughout the days. So this is eyes. Next, what do you use to walk and stand? For mobility, you use what? Your legs and feet. Let's try to break this down. Consider your foundation when you're walking to a client meeting or standing during a presentation. Which part of your anatomy is supporting your entire weight? Your legs and feet. Because your arms and hands are vital for carrying laptop or typing, but they don't provide mobility across the floor. Now, in section 4, we define the legs as the body parts you use to walk and stand, right? With the feet acting as the base you stand on. So this is legs and feet. Number 3, what organ helps you think and remember? Think. What is think? Okay. What do you think is the answer? That is, of course, your brain. Think about solving problem solving and memory. When you are learning a new software system or remembering a client's name, which internal organ is working? That is the brain because the heart, it pumps blood. It's this busy pumping blood. Your stomach is digesting your lunch, so they aren't responsible for memory. Okay, the one responsible, as taught us in section 5, is the brain. Next, we have what do you use to chew food? We have, of course, the mouth. Okay, I know. Chew, I'm sorry. Chew. What do you use to chew food? That is the teeth. Okay. Well, all of these three, the mouth, teeth, and throat, they are part or involved in the digestive process. So we are looking for the specific tools that perform the mechanical action of breaking down food. That is your teeth. The mouth, this is the opening. Your throat is the passage for swallowing. However, the actual grinding and chewing are done by the hard structures inside our mouth, and that is your teeth. Number 4, what connects your foot to your leg? Oh, we've already mentioned this one earlier. That is the ankle. Next, what bends in the middle of your arm? That is your elbow. This one. Where is it? This one. Elbow. Oh, this one bends just like the knee, but upper extremities version. Okay? All right. That is our exercise 4. How are you doing so far? We're already down to one. Last one. Okay? We have exercise 5. Complete the dialogue. Okay, just like a fill in the blank. So here you choose the correct body part to complete each workplace conversation. There is a conversation here already. Let's say, manager, are you okay? You look tired. In response, my blank hurt from standing all day. That is your legs. Again, your legs because it supports you. Next, where does it hurt? Your doctor asked. You mentioned I have pain in my blank. It's hard to breathe. Breathe. What do we use to breathe? That is the chest. Next, your colleague asked, why are you wearing those special glasses? They protect my blank from the computer screen. Computer screen. Glasses. Where is glasses belong? Where does glasses belongs to? That is your eyes. Next, safety officer. Everyone must wear gloves in this area. Yes, the gloves protect our gloves. Where do you put your gloves? In your hands. Okay? Next, can you lift this back? Sorry, my back hurts, right? I cannot lift heavy things. And last one, I need to check your temperature. Open your mouth. Usually they used mouth for checking of temperature. Okay. All right. That is our exercise 5. Complete the dialogue. And everyone, that is our incredible sessions for body parts. You all have successfully navigated through all 5 levels of our workplace anatomy and health challenge. So, from basic identification to complex professional dialogues. Okay. So, it is very important that you master this vocabulary because you've done more than just learn new words here. You've gained the tools to advocate for your own safety and well being in any professional setting. So, whether you are explaining a sore throat to a manager before a meeting or describing chest pain to a doctor, you can now speak with the clarity and confidence of a professional. Okay? All right. Any questions? Type it in before we end. Is there none? Okay, I think there's none. This is it for me for tonight, everyone. Goodbye and have a good night or rest ahead. Goodbye.